So the race has begun in SRL, and here we go. We got all sorts of different sprite options here. So we got our first 3 items here in the throne room. Got money, fairy water, and the requisite magical key. And we do have the return spell. That gives us some options, and there's a cave right outside the castle. So with that, with the return spell, we're able to leave without using that key. And I see FearonBurgundy is actually going out to restock up on even more keys. And Centroid raised the armory where there is another key. So that didn't... And even more gold, so that actually really paid off for Centroid. Wow. And I didn't say... I don't think Basp checked the cave here at the corner of Tangent. We'll see on FearonBurgundy's side what that is. And it's... Wow. The Rainbow Drop Cave, also known as the Jerk Cave. So, actually getting the Rainbow Drop will be no issue at all. It's just finding all the other items. But it's still a bit early for that. But having access to keys early will definitely help. So when we find places like Garenham, the Grave of Garenham, that sort of thing, Rimmildar will be nice too, just to get that one extra item right away. And we got our first level from Basp. Let's see what we got. 2, 6, 0, and 9. And we got a new spell. Stop spell. Not bad. And Centroid falling foul to an armored knight, and probably in that cave nearby. Well, I think there was a torch in the armory, but without using that or Radiant, we won't be able to see what that cave is. Thankfully, our runners seem to have a decent amount of health for starting off, so they can tank these. Oh, and that's Swamp South. Oh. And Drakimas have hurt more. That's good to know. And Wolf Lords are in the Swamp Cave. So the fact that there's a good bit of money in the treasury could lend itself well to a gold grind later on. And how that works is that the game, because of how much memory the game has, it can only keep track of 8 open chests in any given time. And so if you go to a place, and that memory gets refreshed or cleared out once you enter the overworld, but if you die in, say, the Grave of Garenham or Mountain Cave, having opened a few chests, and you die, go straight to Tangential, you haven't been to the overworld, so that checks are still there. So if you go to the treasury, eventually at least one of those chests won't disappear when you check it, allowing you to grind gold to your heart's content. That can't really be done in the vanilla game because all those chests have like 15 gold at best. But in Randomizer, when you can have chests with like 700 and such, that could lead to getting a lot of money real quick, especially if you know where the towns are with and be able to buy better equipment there. But on FurySK's side, we see Sharlock, which isn't that far away. So the endgame stuff is real close, which might explain the armored knight that we saw earlier. And all of our runners pretty much just grinding for a little bit of extra experience going in, just so their travels farther out won't immediately end in death. Or at least be slightly less likely. Oh, and FurySK finds a town, and it's Rimmeldar. Wow. Finding the good stuff right away. Let's see what we got in the shop. Large shield, flame sword. That's good. Chainmail, not so much. But I don't think it was that far away from base. So large shield and flame sword's definitely something worth money grinding for if you have the opportunity. And there's the death necklace in Rimmeldar too. Wow. Okay, giving us a lot of our options right off the bat. So, in the vanilla game, the death necklace pretty much does nothing but curse you, alongside the cursed belt, which even in Randomizer only does that much. But in the Randomizer, the death necklace has an additional function in that if you put it on, it'll bump up your strength by 10 at the cost of 25% of your max HP. So it's definitely a risk-reward thing, especially if you end up dying, because you'll still be kicked out of Tanager immediately. But if you need that little bit of extra boost and you have enough HP where it's not that, where you'll still be able to make do, it's definitely an interesting decision. I don't think anyone's hit level 3 yet. Oh geez, Ghost with heal more. A bit overkill, don't you think? Oh, and they have weak breath too. Oh boy. Oh, and FurySK finding the Staff of Rain Cave. So I definitely say Fury's probably has a bit of an early exploration advantage here, but yeah, hello Axe Knight with Dragonlord Breath. Oh boy. Axe Knights are a popular enemy to grind off of in the late game. I think that might be off the table now. Even if you find Edric's armor, which will reduce the damage you take, that's still a lot of damage. And Basp falls victim to the poisonous swamp. Question: what was under Tanager? That was the Jerk Cave. So once our runners get all the various items, they can just get that right away. See, FearonBurgundy's hits 3, and that thing was... I didn't see the power, but the rest of them were 9, 1, and 5. Oh, and apparently the Scorpions have hurt more too. Ouch. Although FearonBurgundy was successfully able to stop spell that one. It was 9915. Not pretty good level there on the attack front. And it looks like FurySK is doing a bit of a protracted money grind just by collecting the money, leaving, and re-entering, which, considering that you get there's a key in the treasury, you're not really losing anything. And it looks like Centroid's doing the same thing. Having seen that flame sword, that's probably the big ticket item that they're grinding for right now. And thank you to Randomania with the raid. Ooh, level 4 got a new spell. Got a bunch of spells. Ooh, there's heal and hurt. Didn't see what else was there, but heal is very nice to have. And outside and repel. Nice little collection of spells on one level. Interesting. Very nice. Yeah, using hurt to putting hurt to good use, actually taking out a metal scorpion. Very nice. And hits level 5 too. Dang. So 1071. I'm sorry. And it is interesting that Centroid and FurySK, their races against each other, and they're actually doing the same gold grind strat. Where, meanwhile, FearonBurgundy and basp have not. But that's mostly because they haven't seen Rimmildar yet. If they have, they probably would be trying to doing something similar. But that does lead to those two having the experience advantage amongst our 4 runners so far. But we'll see how long that lasts once Centroid and FurySK get geared up. And yes, FurySK saving before heading out, because you never know what you might find on the way to Rimmildar. Although Centroid's going farther. He can definitely... Oh, okay. I thought he was going to grind for even more, but I was going to question why. Since because we hadn't seen any stronger armor or the silver shield yet. And yep, that's a good thing FurySK saved, because that Drakima said no. Oh, and there's another town. FearonBurgundy finds Garenham. Wow, okay. And just meanwhile, basp finds Rimmildar. And FearonBurgundy getting that dragon scale. And basp finding... Okay, getting a club. But Centroid and FurySK getting that flame sword, and the large shield, and that chainmail. And in the back of Garenham, we have gold, more gold, and the Stones of Sunlight. Ooh. Okay, then. And what cave do we have back here? That looks like Vanilla Grave of Garenham. Huh. And there's an armored knight, and away he goes. And apparently FearonBurgundy didn't equip the dragon scale. I wonder if I don't know how experienced he is in the randomizer. Maybe or with Dragon Warrior 1 in general. Maybe he doesn't know that he has to actually equip it for it to actually do anything. But he's got the gold grind going. I didn't see what the weapon and armor shop in Garenham had. I missed that. So his gold grind will take a lot less time. But like I said, I don't remember what was available in Garenham, and he had not seen Rimmildar. But he's going into the 5 figures and keeping going. He must have seen something good in Garenham to be going for this much. Ah, okay, so Garenham was on the other end of, was at the other end of the swamp cave. Okay. Oh, yep, there's the flame sword. And the magic armor's there too. But he didn't grind enough for that. But he is getting the half plate. I probably would have gone all the way up to magic armor, but hey, it's better than nothing. And, you know, Basp is gearing up in Rimmeldar as well. At least with the armor, on the armor front, anyway. Well, if nothing else, he can do the gold grind again if he really wants to. And it looks like he's going to do that. Thankfully, it doesn't take long to get to Garenham. Honestly, it takes less time to get to Garenham than it does to get to Rimmeldar. So honestly, as far as equipment goes, FearonBurgundy ended up having better luck than the other three. And ooh, there was a metal slime, but it ran away. And it looks like the experience levels have largely evened out amongst our 4 runners. Everyone's at 5 except for Fury. And yeah, looks like FearonBurgundy did get that magic armor. FurySK falling afoul to the swamp. You really gotta watch your health when you're going through swamp, especially when you see you're in the red. And I want to say our runners... Doesn't Fury have heal? I thought heal came up in 4, so I think Fury should have that. Yep, indeed he does. And FearonBurgundy taking another stab at Grave of Garenham. At least want to get those first 3 chests. If the Armor Knight lets him, then no, he's not. Oh, he lived, and oh wow, it's the stop spell. But it only works if the Armor Knight continues to cast, and it didn't. Nice strategy though. Ooh, and Bass Pit level 6. I didn't see. Oh, 6 was 2413. All right. Nah, not a big one. FearonBurgundy, I believe that's the Staff of Rain Cave. Can't do much there yet, but... Yeah, Basp is definitely going to be at a disadvantage if he doesn't do some form of gold grind to get that flame sword. Everyone will end up leaving him in the dust unless, well, even if Hurtmore comes up soon, our other runners are likely to get to it first. So, unless Basp is just committing to the XP grind right now, and Hurtmore comes in at level 7, that's definitely gonna set him back a bit. Oh, and druids have sleep too. Yeah, so many things have hurt more. As they often do, it's just a matter of finding out which ones. Yeah, I think even now, I think FearonBurgundy is the only one to have seen Garenham. And it was a neat trick using outside when in Swamp Cave, because using outside in Swamp Cave takes you out the north entrance, and the cave by Tanajo was the south entrance. So you can just step in, hit outside, and boom, you're on the other side. Alright, so at this point, I think a bit more... We need to explore a bit farther out. At this point, it's just a matter of... Is there anything on that second continent besides Garenham? I mean, we already know that Grave of Garenham is over there, though we don't know what it has for us. And, ooh, there's another cave on Centroid's side. And there's a red dragon on Fury's side as well. And Centroid falls afoul to a Wraith Knight. And Fearon searches the Sparkover tile. I'm sure Sparkover will be very happy about that. So, even though Basp doesn't have the equipment that everyone else has, he's still been maintaining the experience lead, at least for the moment. Mostly because he's been committing to the XP grind as opposed to trying to explore elsewhere. Putting that stop spell to good use, too. Yeah, so we're a hair over 20 minutes in, and our runners are pretty much even right now. The only one that I could really say has much of an advantage is FearonBurgundy, just because of that Garenham knowledge. But let's see what's... And Centroid finds the Stones of Sunlight cave. And it has an herb. Can't win them all. And, ooh. Apparently we got level 7 from Centroid. It was 22540. That's a lot of agility right there. A lot of agility, a good bit of defense, too. Oh, and there's a spell there as well. The sleep spell, it looks like. Alright, so... Centroid is exploring some new ground we hadn't seen yet. Whole lot of swamp. Ugh. Couple of mysterious bridges to who knows where. And looks like... Ooh, Basp is just surviving that poltergeist fight. Ooh, wow, nice. And then takes one step and then dies. Is Fury? Yep, he is. Fury's gonna... Oh, man, this is a nasty-looking swamp. Oh, man, if something big is behind this... Except it isn't. Oh, wow. That is probably one of the nastiest swamp setups I've seen, just because of how winding it is. I mean, just seeing one huge patch of swamp is one thing, but you can just, like, walk straight through with that. You have to take twists and turns. Ooh, and Centroid's about to discover Garenham. We'll get a dragon scale of their own. Stock up on some herbs, and we'll see how far Centroid can get into Grave of Garenham if he decides to explore it. Oh, dang, Centroid didn't even get the chainmail before. But it has it now, and has the knowledge of the magic armor being there as well. Getting that Stones of Sunlight, and some money, and some more money. It wouldn't be surprising if Centroid died in Grave of Garenham, considering we've been seeing some nasty enemies in there, particularly the Armored Knight. The upgrades to the half plate right away. And I don't think Centroid has equipped that dragon scale either. I know he bought one. It looked like he was about to equip the death necklace, but nope, he does equip the dragon scale now. Still no radiant, but we do have a torch. So can Centroid make it past where FearonBurgundy did? Oh, there's an Armored Knight. Can he get away? Yes, he does! Chest number 1, Silver Harp. Chest number 2, Magic Key. Or chest 3, Edric Sword! Oh, wow, that's huge. Both the harp and the sword. Oh, man. It's a shame FearonBurgundy wasn't able to make it there, because, oh, dang. Not to mention, with that extra key, that pretty much paid Centroid's way. And it looks like he's venturing even farther. Oh, we got level 8. 1, 3, 6, 19. That's a good bit of MP. Thanks to AliGorbrap, our tracker, for keeping me up to date on these level gains. And also, shoutouts to our restreamer, Lord of the Synth. Without all those people, we wouldn't be here broadcasting these races for you today. Looks like FearonBurgundy is about to take another stab into Grave of Garenham. I'm guessing Centroid died, though it wouldn't be surprising as to which one it was. And FearonBurgundy finally equips that dragon scale. Probably kicking himself a little bit that he forgot to do it sooner, but yeah, in this early game, especially when you're running afoul of the Armored Knights, 2 defense probably isn't gonna make that much of a difference, but every little bit helps in the long run. In Centroid, going ahead getting that Staff of Rain alongside the Stones of Sunlight that he got in Garenham. So only has to find the Edric's token left. So Edric's token could be... We haven't seen any cursed belts yet, so all of the various search tiles are still in play. The one somewhere in the overworld, the one in Cole, and the one in Hawksness. And FearonBurgundy, reaching those first 3 chests in the grave, gets all the good stuff. And, ooh, there's another cave on that second continent, I see on the Centroid side. And Basp reaches Garenham as well. Oh, there's an Armored Knight in the overworld, but Centroid gets away. And FearonBurgundy reaches the 2nd floor of Grave and finds an Axe Knight, but is able to get away. So I believe we're in a different enemy group at this point, and there's a replacement torch. Ooh, and a blue dragon. But he's able to get away from that one too. So there's only 1 chest left to check and see if we can make it there. Even if it's nothing, at least you know, and you won't have to come back. Granted, it's not a short trip, but it's... when you've got other places to look into, like this one cave that Centroid's about to go into, it's definitely... you definitely don't want to have to dive places more than once. And what is this cave? It is Mountain Cave. Okay. And FearonBurgundy gets taken out by a blue dragon. You know, Basp has reaped the spoils of the first floor of the grave. Turns out, Basp didn't need to get that flame sword because he just found something better. So there's a lot of places that we haven't found yet. We haven't found Cantlin, so we don't have access to the coordinates. We haven't found Cole, so we don't know. We haven't been able to search that one. We haven't found Hawksness. We haven't been able to search that one either. We found Mountain Cave on Centroid's side, but we haven't seen what was in it yet. We haven't found. There's Tablet Cave, and I think that's it. We're getting some new exploration on FearonBurgundy's side, though. Looks like we're getting some good, decent exploration on Centroid's side as well, as FearonBurgundy dies once again. And Basp's exploration of the Deep Grave gets stopped by a blue dragon as well. As does Centroid. Dang. The blue dragons are out in force today. So it looks like as of now, FurySK actually has the experience lead. But it's still early, and once the full grind gets underway, 100 won't mean anything at this point, at that point. These Druid Lords are giving FurySK a good bit of XP. And there's level 9. Let's see what we get for that. 0, 6, 12, 2. The lack of power is a little troubling, since you see on Centroid's side we're at 28, FurySK is at 29. That's not good for a strength score. Where we see our 3 runners that have Edric Sword, even they're only in the high 60s at the moment for a full attack power. And ooh, Ferran finds coal. I didn't see what the I didn't see if Ferran checked the tile, but we're about to see it on Centroid's side as well. And that's where Edric's armor is. Nice. That's one big piece of the puzzle found. May not necessarily be required, but nobody's gonna turn that down. But that still leaves the other 2 search spots. At this point, it's likely that one will have the flute, the other will have the token. We haven't really had the means of checking either one yet. Oh, and apparently the Silver Shield was also for sale in Cold. We'll see if any of our runners decide to do the gold grind for that. And, FurySK finds Garenham for the first time. Question in chat regarding Hawksness. It's possible that, like I said, it's likely that the token is either at Hawksness or at the whichever spot of the overworld it's in. Until we either find Cantlin or Hawksness, we don't really know for sure which one's which. Basp heads into Mountain Cave. Or at least steps inside it. Oh, okay. And then there's another Armored Knight. So there's still, I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5 chests in Mountain Cave that could have stuff. So really the only thing that we would need right now is the token before we can just start a grind. I'm not sure where the grind would be at the moment. Because even at this kind of a low level to be even for trying to take out, like, blue dragons and whatnot. Although, I guess there is the trap tile in the swamp cave, but I don't think we've seen that yet. If that's a reasonable fight, though I'm not sure what qualifies as a reasonable fight given what we've seen so far. Because, like, Axe Knights with the Dragon Lord 2 breath, that's... I think that crosses that off the list, and what else would there be? Blue Dragon, Red Dragon, Stone Man, Golem... I don't think we had seen that last two, though. Ooh, FearonBurgundy was able to get away from that red dragon. Wasn't able to get away from that one, though. Yeah, but having that Edric's armor is definitely helping Centroids in his exploration right now, getting through all this swamp. So I believe that was that Rimmeldar that FearonBurgundy passed by? I think so. And that just led to a dead end. And that Demon Knight just keeps dodging and dodging and dodging. But as long as it keeps trying to use that stop spell, which won't work because of Edric's armor. Oh, and it has hurt too. Lovely. Well, the thing is that I don't think the Echoing Flute would help much because I don't think any of those towns have crests. I actually know this since I've actually been playing I had actually played Dragon Warrior 2 recently. Ooh, Basp finds a new cave. I don't think we'd seen this one yet. I don't know where that one is. I think by process of elimination and given the direction he's going, that's got to be Tablet Cave. And I am impressed that he's able to go through that by feel. Or never mind. Yeah, there's another Sparkover cave I saw in Centroid side. Though we have a lot of bridges leading to nothing so far. And Tablet Cave just has the wings. Although, at this point, unless by some fluke chance the token is in a chest somewhere. which I guess until we actually find it, we can't really assume one way or the other, can we? Since I want to say that whether or not they can be in chests or revolve around where the presence or absence of cursed belts. I forget the details on that at the moment, but at this point, we'll find it when we find it. It's just a matter of we're still missing 3 towns. We haven't seen Breckenary either. Not that Breckenary's that important, but it exists. And FurySK has coal in his sights, though he doesn't realize it yet. And if he can't get away, yep, he gets away. Good. Fury getting that armor. Oh, there's 2 towns right close to each other on Basp's side, and one of them is Cantlin. Oh boy. So unfortunately, he's the only runner out of the 4 who doesn't have Edric's armor. So if he wants to get those coordinates, he's gonna have to pay for it in blood. Although I see another new town on Centroid's side. I don't recognize that one. Oh, metal slimes have weak breath. Oh, but you got a level 4, 2, 10, 4 for level 10. And it is Hawksness. Hawksness. I keep forgetting if there's that S in the middle. And the Guardian is an Axe Knight. We don't have Hurtmore, and doesn't appear to be doing a lot of damage. And we don't have Healmore either, and ooh! Ouch! And apparently, Cantlin was a complete dud, so no coordinates to be had. Well, that makes things a little bit interesting. If anything, it makes... Well, it means that there should be something in Hawksness, though I'm still not... It still could be either the token or the flute, unless I am mistaken. So if it's not, if the token is not in Hawksness, then it's got to be in Mountain Cave. I think that's the only place it can be at that point, because we've pretty much been everywhere else that stuff can be. And I saw some stats on Centroid's side. I think his attack power was in the 70s. Just not that good. But the defense is getting up there, just because of all the gear that our runners have. But that attack power really needs to get a move on and actually go up some. And that's with all of our runners having Edric's sword, too. So, equipment ain't gonna help on that. Although I think all of our runners have found the Death Necklace, so that is on the table if it really comes down to it. So we know out of this pair of towns here, we know one is Cantlin, the other's going to be Breckenary. And Centroid gonna get the unfortunate news about the coordinates or lack thereof. Not even checking the shops, and I don't blame them because don't really need them because we already. The only improvement would be the Silver Shield, and we already know where that is. And Centroid trying to put the Axe Knight to sleep, and it ain't working. And ooh, FearonBurgundy gets a Metal Slime kill. Nicely done. Oh, and Basp did too. Wow, 2 runners getting a Metal Slime kill at the same time. Very, very cool. And Fury taking a well, apparently did take a stab at that Axe Knight, but was able to get away. Yeah, our tracker Aligobrap mentioning the strength and or hurt more is definitely something we really need, especially if we need to get past that Axe Knight. Oh, FearonBurgundy hit level 11. I did not see what that gave. Looks like 3 strength, 3 agility, ooh, 12 HP, and 5 MP. Okay, cool. And Basp gets another Metal Slime kill. Oh man, and FurySK takes down an Armored Knight. Honestly, at this point, given their strength levels, I think that might be the more impressive thing. Wow. Unfortunately, that wasn't the thing blocking the item at Hawksness, but still. And FearonBurgundy diving into Mountain Cave. Now that at least we as an audience know that one of the search tiles is a dud. That leaves some more possibilities as to where the token could be, but there's the magic key for the first item. Chest number 2, another dragon scale. And there's an Armor Knight. Ooh, he gets away. Nice. And that one's empty. It's probably either an herb or a... There's the token! There is the token on FearonBurgundy's side. Oh, wow. So, now we know that if Hawksness has anything, it's going to be the Fairy Flute. And a Metal Slime kill on Centroid as well. Getting a few Metal Slime kills. So, FearonBurgundy is basically in grind and go. Now the question is, where does he go to grind? Because, like I said, with our strength level the way it is, and without hurt more, killing any high-end enemies would be dangerous and time-consuming. Alright, so Rainbow Drop in hand for FearonBurgundy. Where does he go from here? And apparently FurySK is doing a bit of grinding outside of Hawksness. Seeing if he can get some strength to take out that Axe Knight. Yeah, I think Fearon might be checking, or never mind. Thought he might have been checking the Trap Tile and Swamp, but not yet. Which kind of begs the question, where is he going? Is he taking Grave of Garenham as a possible grind spot? I mean, a lot of these cave locations are going to have the same enemy layout. So, like, this first floor of Garen's Grave is going to have the same enemies as the second floor of Mountain Cave, which we know includes an Armored Knight. And farther down in Garen's Grave, we know we're gonna have blue dragons as well, and Basp is our final runner to find that Edric's armor, and probably doesn't feel too good about it. Probably thinks he's a little behind right now, but that'll be something we can ask later in the interview. Yeah, that's a possibility. He's going to grind for the Silver Shield. That's not a bad idea, really, if you really don't have much else to do. And suddenly, when he's trying to die, the enemies aren't showing up. Yeah, the Silver Shield was in coal, from what I was told. So at this point, it looks like Basp is still doing some exploring, finally finding a few things. Centroid, FurySK, and FearonBurgundy looks like they're all doing a grind, though for different things and possibly for different reasons. But now it's just a matter of how long will it take our other runners to really go into a mountain cave and actually survive long enough to get to where the token is. So what's interesting is FearonBurgundy is pretty much in gold mode. He also has the experience lead at the moment. So he's pretty much got all the advantages right now. Okay, FurySK takes a bit of a lead amongst our four runners anyway. Okay, he's able to get away from that armored knight. I don't remember if he had saved after the money grind. But if he didn't, it was of no consequence. Alright, so the only thing that can really help him FearonBurgundy right now is finding the fighter's ring, which is really only a +2 to attack power. So, at this point, it's just a matter of where... we all know that a grind is really going to be necessary. Partially because we're at level 11 and in go mode already, but just even then, our strength is not where it needs to be. But ooh, FurySK gets a metal slime kill. And comes across Cantlin. But green dragons, that's a pretty good enemy to come across right now. Especially since they don't seem to have much for abilities, but they do hit pretty hard. Oh, okay. And no, I don't think any of our runners have heal more either. So no heal more, no hurt more. So health might be a little bit at a premium as well. And I think Fearon's gonna check that trap tile now. Axe might be doable, but the axe does have Dragon Lord 2 breath, and looks like we have a Stone Man. And successfully puts it to sleep for a little while at least. And it seems pretty susceptible to it so far. Oh, didn't work that time though. Well, I don't know. Lorgun in chat, I don't know if you meant 15 to 16 resist. But yeah, that one time that sleep doesn't go off, those things hit you hard. Oh, and Basp is in Hawksness. And ooh, FearonBurgundy is diving into Sharlock. Or at least opening the way. Question in chat about the sprite replacements. The Dragon Warrior Randomizer comes... You have a whole bunch of different options for different sprites built into the randomizer itself. Options include pretty much every character sprite from Dragon Warrior 2, Dragon Warrior 3, Dragon Warrior 4, Final Fantasy 1, and a few other things besides. Okay, so FearonBurgundy just opened the way. Yeah, at this point, without strength and without hurt more, grinding... You can't really grind on high-end enemies here. That's because the things that you would want to be able to grind on, like the Axe Knights, it's packing nasty abilities. And that kind of gets in the way of that. Ooh, Fury hits level 12. 1, 8. Was that 1 strength or 1 agility? Because I think the other one was a flat 0. Oh, great. Oh, boy, the game is being stingy with the strength gains. And we still have no Hurt More, which we're guaranteed to have all the spells by level 16. It's just gonna really suck if that's when we get Hurt More. At least if we had Heal More, that would actually make some of these things a bit more feasible. But we don't even have that. So, and regular heal isn't gonna stand up to Dragon Lord Fire. So I see FearonBurgundy and Centroid grinding in the same swampy area. Spectres aren't bad for XP. Especially since you can take them out reliably. And FurySK is taking a stab at that Axe Knight. I don't think FearonBurgundy has found Hawksness, though he doesn't really need to. But he does get a Metal Slime kill. And that takes him to level 12. Oh, the thing is, if we have Hurt More, I don't know how resistant Stone Men are to Hurt More, but that would definitely be a shorter walk. Oh, but FearonBurgundy got Heal More! Apparently we got Heal More at 12. Nice! And Health and Magic was 8 and 16 at level 12, seeing that on Centroid's side. So, on experience, everyone is largely still even. It's just a matter of FearonBurgundy has everything that he needs. Everyone else still has to get to Mountain Cave. It's just unfortunate that I want to say all three, at least Basp and Fury for sure. I think Centroid as well knows about Hawksness, and will probably try to prioritize that. And that may eat into some time a little bit, unless we get the means of grinding off of that Axe Knight. Ooh, and FearonBurgundy gets the stop spell hit on the Armored Knight, and gets a critical hit on him too. That was a good bit of XP. And FurySK turning in the Silver Harp to get the Staff of Rain. And these Armored Knights definitely seem to be favoring using that Hurt More, and that's making that stop spell hits so much more valuable. Meanwhile, Centroid's taking on the Axe Knight and Hawksness. Let's see if we can... Well, having Heal More will definitely help here. So this win should be a given. I say should. And thank you, RPG Limit Break, for the raid. And down goes the Axe Knight for Centroid. And, oh god, Hawksness was a dud. Hawksness had nothing. Oh, wow, that hurts. So now we know that both Edric's token and the Fairy Flute are both in chests somewhere. The Fairy Flute has to be... It's either the last chest in the Mountain Cave or in Sharlock. And Centroid tries to take on the Axe Knight again, and gets taken out. Yeah, question in chat. We just got heal more at level 12. I think we got heal at 4, but yeah, we have no hurt more even now, and we just got heal more at level 12. And our strength score is, well, you see it right there. It's really, really bad. And all of our runners have the Edric sword, so strength gains are pretty much all we got right now. Yeah, but FearonBurgundy's been definitely making some good use of the stop spell against the Armored Knights that seem to be really spammy with Hurtmore. And he's been able to use that to his advantage to get some really good experience here. Because experience grinding is going to be a bit of a thing without Hurtmore and good strength, especially since the Axe Knights have Dragon Lord Breath. And Centroid is diving into Mountain Cave. Let's see if he can get that token. And FearonBurgundy gets the level. Let's see what we get. Strength 4, 1, 13, 4. New spell. And there's Hurtmore. Not much for strength still, but at least Hurtmore will definitely help some. Oh, and FearonBurgundy also got Radiant as well. So that's the full complement of spells at level 13. It's just the one that you really want, the two that you really want, for the last two you get. I mean, granted, that's what happens in vanilla, and Centroid getting that token. So now we have Centroid pretty much in grind and go mode, since we know that the Rainbow Drop Cave is in the Tangential basement. And Sharlock is pretty much right next door. So it's one less couple things we don't really have to worry about. Well, you say that FearonBurgundy has no repeatable grind. There are the Stonemen in Swamp Cave. That's probably not that bad of a grind if he can do it. And he was able to take out quite a few Armored Knights, so that definitely helped as well. And they're pretty close to home. He knows exactly where to go for it. And is staying on the high percentage style, or at least was anyway. And basp. Oh, FearonBurgundy's diving Sharlock. Interesting. And Centroid checking the trap tile in Swamp Cave, seeing that seeing the Stone Man there. Remember, when FearonBurgundy checked the trap tile here, he didn't have heal more at the time. So it didn't really have much of a rebuttal when the Stone Man kept waking up and taking shots at him. And Basp finds Edric's token. So this is pretty much a scouting mission for FearonBurgundy, seeing what the various enemy configurations are going down Charlock Castle. Probably might end up checking the treasury at the bottom as well if we can get there. See if we can get the fighter's ring or something. And yep, Centroid is taking the Stone Man grind. We're seeing armored knights in Charlock. Those may be a pain to get away from. But if you're just going for experience, then it's not so bad. Honestly, the XP lead has kind of fluctuated a little bit. FearonBurgundy's had it at times, Fury's had it at times. Though Fearon's definitely got a sizable lead right now. About 800 over his opponent Basp, has about 1,000 over Centroid, about 600 over Fury. 700. It looks like Fury is going to take another stab at Mountain Cave as well. And all these Arbor Knights, there's just more and more experience, closer and closer to level 14, and he decides discretion is a better part of valor and escapes with his life. As Centroid gets the rainbow drop. Is a bit behind in experience compared to Fury, but Centroid has everything he needs, and he knows Hawksness is empty, at least as far as items are concerned. And looks like Basp is taking the Swamp Cave trap tile as well, taking down the Stone Man at least once. And a whole bunch of Armor Knights going around. Armor Knights is a distressingly, well, early game it was a distressingly common enemy to find, but I think our runners kind of want to see them now. Or at least Fearon certainly does. That's probably the most reliable source of experience right now. It's better than the Blue Dragons, it seems. Meanwhile, Centroid's deciding to go after the Axe Knights instead, but ooh. apparently the Axe Knights seem to have a bit of hurt more resistance. That first one didn't hit, and it has heal more too. Oh, it's bad. It wasn't enough that it had Dragon Lord breath. It has to have heal more too. Well, that pretty much. Oy, Dragon Lord breath, hurt resistance, and heal more. Oy. That kind of makes the Axe Knights really not worth it to grind. At least. I guess if you can lead off with a hit and then hurt more afterwards, that probably would work. Or if you can get lucky and one-shot him, goodness knows I've seen that often enough. And Fury getting our final runner to get the rainbow drop. So all of our runners pretty much have all the required items. Now it's just a matter of when our runners can actually get the stats needed to get to the end. And Ron hit level 14 while I wasn't looking. Looks like strength 7, agility 4, hit points 14, magic 13. Wow. Or no, that was the difference between 14 and 12. My mistake. Attack still only at 84. That's not gonna cut it. Even using the death necklace wouldn't save you there. And Fearon discovering that the Axe Knight has heal more as well, decides there are better fights to take. Like this one. Honestly, I like the strategy that Fearon was using before against those Armor Knights, just using Stop Spell. That seems to be better resource conservation. Did Fearon get down to the mini-boss? No. He went down until basically all the Armored Knight fights just sapped his resources and he used outside to go out and heal. Because at this point, you're just looking, you're wanting information on what's down at the bottom, but you also want experience too. And Fearon is definitely getting an XP advantage over all of our runners, though especially his opponent. Since I say he's gotten a XP lead of about 2100 right now. And question, why is Fury not in Hawksness? Maybe he feels that going after the Star Wyverns and Blue Dragons here is probably a bit more palatable than the Axe Knight. And it's a shorter trip from home. You always gotta have that balance of distance traveled and the enemies that you're fighting. And I'm pretty sure Fearon did not make it to the bottom, but he's gaining more and more experience the more trips he makes. Eventually, we're gonna break through and get that strength that we need. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. Because, like, we're still at level 14. I mean, the earliest I've seen people go into Dragonlord and succeed has been, like, 17. Maybe 16, but like 17 is as low as I've seen people win these races in. So unless we get some miracle like 50 strength level, which isn't unheard of, I have seen cases where You just get some huge level all at once, and boom, you're done. You're good. It's just a matter of whether that happens today or not. As the saying goes, some may giveth, some may taketh away. In this case, it's more of some may giveth, some may just not giveth. You know, Centroid and FurySK in full grind mode, they're pretty much going back and forth on the XP front, so. And I can never remember how much XP you need to level, especially since we're at the varying percentages. I don't even remember what percentage it's been reduced under these flags. So I can't really say when a runner's even close to getting a level at this point. And thank you, Lorgon, for that information. I probably will forget it before long, but at least we know that FearonBurgundy is not far from level 15. I think at the moment FurySK is gaining a bit of an advantage over Centroid on the experience front. Yes, are the Axe Knights giving more experience than the Green Dragons and Werewolves? Yes. But FurySK is healing as he walks, so he hasn't had to heal himself nearly as much. And the trips to and from the grinding spot is definitely definitely a shorter trip for Fury at this point. And level 15, power 1, 1, 5, and 5. Oh boy. Oh, that is not nice. That is not nice. At the very least, we're alright on defense. So I know that whenever we do go into the Dragon Lord fight, we don't have to worry about the physical attacks outpacing the breath attacks. But yeah, but it looks like Fearon's taking the lower path, checking the vanilla Edric sword location. Like I said, really the only thing that he'd be looking for is the fighter's ring. And at this point, you kind of want that extra 2 attack power. You're gonna take all the strength gains you can get. And meanwhile, Basp is in Hawksness. I don't know if this is a grind or if he hadn't checked the tile here yet. And unfortunately, that chest is empty, which means it either had an herb or a key, depending on which one Fearon is maxed out on. Alright, so FearonBurgundy is, he gained some information, gained that extra level for whatever it was worth. All of our I want to say all of our runners have that death necklace in their back pocket, and depending on what our HP gains end up being in our next few levels, that may end up being a necessity. Yeah, but with attack power of 85, that ain't gonna cut it. Because to even be able to reliably damage the Dragon Lord just in general, you need at least, what, 104? Just to have it be 1 to 2? Okay, yep, Basp is doing the grind on the Axe Knights. At this point, that's pretty much all our runners can do. Just grind, grind, grind until something good happens. Oh, there are wizards on the first floor as well. So, at this point, assuming you're able to reach Dragon Lord at full MP, that would be 11 heal mores. Granted, with our attack power, it's not going to matter how many heal mores we get, because you're pretty much at a 50-50 chance of doing 1 damage. But yeah, our tracker, Aligrabrat, pretty much puts it best. When your defense score is higher than your attack power, something ain't right. Meanwhile, on our bottom race, FurySK is taking a sizable experience lead over Centroid. In fact, I think he might be catching up to Fearon as well. Oh yeah, he and Fearon are pretty much neck and neck on the experience front now. You say we have 4 different grinds. Okay, Centroid was in Hawksness, but I think he's... I don't know if he's just trying to get back there now, or what. Alright, Fearon is heading into the depths of... It's getting close to the bottom of Charlock. Well, we haven't seen many golems in this one. It looks like we got a good bit of them, but they seem to be easy enough to run away from. Alright, and first chest is gold, second chest is werewolf. And I think without the flute, with all the golems about, I don't think this bottom floor is gonna be the best for grinding. And there's the fighter's ring! So now Fearon's attack power is up to 87. Ooh, yeah! Well, if nothing else, let's see if we can make it to the mini boss tile. Oh, there's Axe Knights down here too. Oh, of course. So I think at this point, I don't remember if it's our tracker or our restreamer that can do this. I wonder if one of you can pull up the stats on the Axe Knight. I'm curious as to what the hurt resistance is on that thing, because we've seen it fizzle out often enough. Really? It's only a 1 out of 16, and yet it's resisted that many times? That is weird. Huh. That's just some really bad luck there. And looks like the mini-boss is a red dragon? Which, all things considered, doesn't seem too bad now. Given all the nasty abilities that other things have, just a red dragon that just does nothing but swing, 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 that doesn't seem quite as bad at this point. But it hits as hard as it normally does. Oh, okay, and it actually has weak breath, okay. That's not bad, but though it doesn't seem inclined to use it that often. Well, okay, maybe not. Oh, apparently FurySK hit level 16 while I wasn't looking. Looks like Strength 4, Agility 0, HP 9, MP 16. Okay. Strength's still not much, but more HP, more magic. That's okay? Question mark? I would think if MTI rolled the seed, everyone would still be at, like, strength of 5 even now. Heck, if MTI rolled this seed, we wouldn't have had any stat gains this whole time. He's barely able to escape Sherlock with his life. But he's gained valuable information. The mini-boss trap tile before the Dragon Lord isn't really exactly a pushover. So for XP, Looks like Basp has gained a little bit, so he's within 2,000 experience now. FurySK has about almost 1,000 ahead of Centroid. And having gained all that information, looks like Fearon is going to leave Sharlock alone for a bit. And is going to grind over near Cole. Yep, we're seeing 3 different grind methodologies. We'll see how quickly our runners end up getting something. I don't know. If the Dragon Lord really comes down to just spamming Hurtmore and praying, oh boy, we might be in for a long one here. That would be, it would be really cool to see that though. It would just be really, really fluky, but hey, if it wins you the race, who cares? Although one cool thing that Fearon and Fury are doing, they're keeping to the desert tiles. I want to say the desert and the swamp tiles have the highest encounter rate compared to the forest and plains tiles. So they're getting a lot more encounters on those as opposed to if they were going on in other terrain. I want to say the mountains as well, but just traveling through mountains is just slower in general. So the swamp and the desert are definitely the faster options there. And with Fury having the experience lead amongst all of our runners so far, only a few more fights and we'll see what level 17 has to offer. And one advantage Fearon has grinding right next to Cole's, when he needs to heal, he can just jump right into Cole, heal, and walk out and resume. Yeah, and all of our runners do have Hurt More. Well, most of our runners are at level 16, they'd have it regardless, but Hurt More was learned at level 13. So it took a while to even get that much, especially when Heal More was at level 12. And Fury's one fight away from getting that level. Alright, level 17. What do we got? Power 5, 5, 6, 3. Oh, jeez. Well, on to 18. Which I believe was said to be at 14,500, so strap yourselves in. We're in for a long one. Oh, 14,250, alright. And comparing the experience levels of all of our runners, it's pretty much been, despite the difference in grinding methods, it's pretty much been staying pretty close together. Centroid and FurySK are within a few hundred of each other. Furon and basp are about 2,000 apart. And that's pretty much what it's been for about the last maybe 20 minutes. So, like, in spite of the different grinding methods, it really hasn't mattered that much. There hasn't been really any catching up or extending leads at this point. Well, at this point, it's pretty clear that unless someone tries to go for the YOLO hurt more strats, it'll be interesting to see when. Since I, for one, don't know what our runners would be getting at levels 18, 19, 20, etc. It'll be interesting to see when someone decides that they're ready to take on the Dragon Lord, and I think at this point, a Death Necklace usage may be inevitable here. Our health is looking pretty good at around 120. So that extra 10 attack power is probably more valuable at this point. Although, now I'm seeing that Centroid has passed FearonBurgundy as well, although it's really only factoring in Centroid and FurySK, comparing those two, and Furon and basp compared to each other, since those are the actual races taking place here, despite them all using the same seed. But yeah, it's really neat seeing so many of our runners so close together. Like, at this point, 3 of our runners are within 200 experience of each other. Make that like 120, actually. Well, you're not wrong in using the Death Necklace does have the side effect of not being able to making the Sharlock dive a bit more risky. You kind of need to deal damage at some point. And like even for on using the Death Necklace now, it would be doing what 1 to 3 against Dragon Lord right now, if I'm doing the math correctly. At least the defense is all right, so I won't have to worry about the physical attacks doing more than 48. But that's about the only thing our runners have going for them. Plus a decent amount of MP as well. Although FurySK is coming close to another level. Another couple fights and you'll be there. Yep, we're not in the bracket stages yet. This is still the first week of Swiss. So all of our runners are currently 0-0, though that will change eventually. Alright. Level time for Fury. What do we get? Power 34! 106. Bang! That's what we needed to see. Okay, so with 128, that would be, any given attack against the Dragon Lord would be 7 to 14. That's looking pretty good at the moment. And dang, FurySK, if he grinded a little bit more, he could just outright purchase that silver shield out. Yeah, FearonBurgundy is the only one that opted to gold grind for the silver shield. Everyone else, I want to say everyone except basp did a gold grind, at least to some extent, but Fearon was the only one that went so far as to for the silver shield. And Fury is heading in. And it looks like Centroid is as well. And having already gotten that fighter's ring, that would put FearonBurgundy up to 130, which would be a 7 to 15 attack range. So they have a good bit of MP. Let's see. 14 heal mores if I'm doing the math right. So I don't think it's necessarily a given. I don't really have the means of having percentage chances on success here, but holy cow, Centroid and FurySK are pretty much step for step. Holy cow, this is getting good right here. Now it's just a matter of who has the better encounter luck. It looks like it's Centroid at the moment. FurySK was the first one of these two to get in, but Centroid's pulling ahead. Alright, Fearon gets that level 18. And it looks like he's going to be diving into Sharlock as well. So one point of note, they didn't get any HP gains on level 18. I'd be curious if any of our runners uses the Death Necklace before the Sharlock fight. No, before the Dragon Lord fight. That would bring it up to 138, which would be a 9 to 19. Would it pretty much negate any chances of getting double attacks? Maybe, but the more attacks per hit, well, we'll see which of our runners decides to go for it. I don't even know offhand how much. Actually, if they use the Death Necklace, that would bring their HP down to 90, I think. So yeah, that's probably not a good idea. But someone may do it. Who knows? Just because it's a bad idea doesn't mean somebody's not going to do it. But Centroid is the first to make it to the bottom floor. Now, Fearon is the only one to know about who the mini-boss is, so we'll see how Centroid handles the Red Dragon coming up. Especially since apparently he had burned a heal more on the way down. That's not good. And Fury is on the bottom floor as well. And Basp has hit level 17. And I thought he was going to go into Charlock too, but no. Looks like he's heading back to Hawksness. And having to burn more heal mores against the Red Dragon. Oh boy. You know, Fury had already used some herbs earlier on this floor. So, Centroid, that is 12 heal mores and 5 herbs, I believe. So he should be able to... Oh yeah, especially if the Dragon Lord's using Stop Spell. Oh yeah. Hit for attack for 12, and down with phase 1. And Opaque attack. Starts with a 9, that's 13, so that we're up to 22. Uh, 29. Or did I count that wrong? I thought it was at... Oh, well, whatever. I lost the count now. Okay. And meanwhile, FurySK is going into the Dragon Lord fight as well. Oh, man, this is good. Fury does have 1 extra heal more. Ooh, but the Dragon Lord does use a hurt more. And the second one. Uh-oh. This doesn't use an herb, though. Hopefully, doesn't back attack. Yes, he does. Oh dear, that's not good. No free attack for Fury. And now FearonBurgundy is about to enter the Dragon Lord fight. 3 of our runners are at the Dragon Lord fight at the same time. Just as Basp hits level 18 as well. Oh, wow, this is cool. Centroid's down to 2 heal mores left. Centroid, heal more at 44. Which was a very good idea, since that's exactly how much damage he was dealt. But Centroid takes down the Dragon Lord. Oh, yes. Oh, dang. GG to Centroid. And meanwhile, Basp is taking the dive too. This has been a really, really close race. Centroid finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, 39 seconds. Just under that 2-hour mark. Wow. That was a well-earned victory right there. You know, Fury is now down to 2 Healmores left. And Fury is using his last Healmore now. Oh boy, he's down to his last attack. And it's enough! Ooh, wow, that was close. GG to Fury. Dang. I said it wasn't necessarily a given, and that kind of proved it right there. Meanwhile, Ferran is down to 3 Healmores left. And Fury finishes with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 23 seconds. Not even 2 minutes difference. And, you know, Ferran finishes the Dragon Lord fight as well, a bit more comfortably than Fury did. And Ferran finishes in 3rd place. Well, 3rd overall, but 1st in his race against Basp with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 6 seconds. GG. And we have Fury in the booth here. GG.
Thanks.
I can't really hear you.
Any better?
You're still coming off really quiet. Meanwhile, Basp is at the Red Dragon fight. So in the end, this was a really close race all the way around.
Alright, now I'm maxed out on my settings, so...
Actually, that was my fault. I had my volume low. I'm sorry. And we have Centroid in the booth as well. GG to you both.
Thank you so much.
GG, man. Close race.
You have no idea. Once it got down to the grind, it was pretty much neck and neck between you two for probably the last hour.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have that 30-something strength a couple levels sooner, but... Oh.
I'm sure we're all in agreement of that. One interesting thing is, Fury, you were the one that actually entered Charlotte Castle first, but it was only by, like, maybe a minute, if not less. But because of encounter luck, Centroid was able to pull ahead after the first basement floor.
Yeah, I have to say, I feel like whatever happened in my Charlotte, like it was like the you know, we like to joke about how that Charlotte can be like rude or whatever, but like I had the most polite Sherlock of all time. It was like I had like no encounters. It was insane.
Yeah, not quite that luck for me, man. I think, probably about 20 before I got to the bottom floor, and then I just got golemed into oblivion. Lost all my herbs before I even got to the tile.
And we have FearonBurgundy in the booth. GG.
GG. Thank goodness that seed is over. Wow, I am more tilted than an arcade full of pinball machines in an earthquake.
You say that, but really, amongst all of our runners, you
Where
probably
to start?
had you actually had a pretty decent advantage for a good bit of this race. You were the first one of our runners to find Garanham.
I was?
Yes, you were.
It was right on the other side of the swamp cave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
You were the first one to go that way. You weren't the first one to actually get the treasures out of there. I think that was. I want to say that was Centroid, but.
Well, I was gonna say it took me 38 tries to get up there. That was certainly one of the issues, but yeah, every time I went through there, an armored knight or a star wyvern just said, "Nope, none shall pass," and that's why I ended up doing 3 gold grinds throughout the seed.
Interesting enough, you were the only one to actually grind for the silver shield.
Well, I was looking for it along the way, and when I saw that it was fairly close in coal, and seeing early on how our strength and agility were fairly low, I said, all right, this is going to be one of those seeds where I'm going to definitely need it. And it certainly helped throughout the later part of the game. But where one of my bigger goofs was early on was after I found Garanham, I looked at the shop and I saw there was a flame sword, I saw there was a large shield, and I thought that the armor that was there was the full plate. So when I grinded up, I fell about 3,500 to 4,000 short of getting the magic armor. So when I went back in and ended up getting bopped yet a second time, I was like, all right, well, let's just grind up for the magic armor since we died and did it again. So that was why there was the kind of double gold grind early on.
Meanwhile, Basp has successfully defeated the Dragon Lord, is talking to all the guards along the way. And yeah, like this was a really, really close race. All 4 of you finishing within 10 minutes of each other, given how much grinding this was. And considering that you actually had about a 2,000 experience lead over Basp for much of this race. Basp finishes with an official SRL time of 2:07.17. GG.
I am kind of surprised by that, in all honesty. I felt like I was behind from that errant gold grind onward, and then when I saw the sword, I had more than a few S words that were being said at that point.
I'm sure all of our runners can agree to having some choice words to the stat gains this seed was giving you.
Well, yeah, I didn't even get to that. One of the other things that I'd noticed early on was, is it me or did Sherlock seem to encompass 90% of Alefgard? It just seemed like everywhere I turned, there was an armored knight here, there was a green dragon there, a star wyvern here, the occasional red dragon as well. There were axe knights everywhere. It just seemed like the majority of the overworld was late game enemies, and that made for a very slow start. And oh, by the way, having something like 47 strength at level 16 certainly didn't help either.
Yeah, they made the middle part of the game pretty hard, right? Because there was no heal more, no hurt more, just no strength. So, I don't know, you had to get creative with grinding and stuff.
Yeah, where did you guys end up grinding? Because I was stumped all the way through. I tried a couple of different things.
Up in the northeast corner, there were like a couple spots with some Wraith Knights, which give, like close to 80 experience. And I was looking for those Demon Knights because they give 90 XP, and they're like, they only cast like stop spell and nothing else. But I really couldn't find them. So like, the majority of my kills were like mid game were Wraith Knights.
The Wraith Knights definitely got things moving along. I think I'd also found a few in that same area. I think, or maybe it was a different area. There were a few Druin Lords that I had found that definitely, at that point, having the magic armor really helped in getting around to that, since I hadn't yet found Where was it? Oh, that's right. I hadn't found coal and gotten the armor. Or maybe I had. I don't even remember at this point. It feels like so long ago. Now, a lot of the time, once we had gotten Healmore, then I kind of, just to the west of that northeast area that you're talking about, there was this little strip of desert that it was maybe about 7 tiles long, that I kind of walked back and forth on those and got mostly armored knights there. Then I realized that wasn't working, so I went into Sharlock just to kind of see what I was up against. And that, while it wasn't the most efficient, then I realized, probably way too late, that over by where Cole was a nice little desert with a whole bunch of green dragons and armored knights. And that ended up being the later part of my game. That ended up being the grind to get to what I was hoping would be 16 to beat a level. Nope, then 17. Finally 18. Oh, look at that. 34 strength. Let's go.
Yeah, I think I was way behind going into probably Hurtmore. Once I got Hurtmore, I found the desert right next to Sharlock had, I think it was green dragons and werewolves, so you just Hurtmore once and go, Hurtmore once and go, maybe slap it a little bit, and felt like I probably made a little bit of time up on Centroid, just not enough.
Funny thing, Fury, actually from about level 12 onward, you pretty much had the XP lead from that point on.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm not talking about just against Centroid. I'm talking amongst all 4 of our runners. It was for a while. It was pretty much back and forth between Fury and Ferran, but eventually around level 12, you pretty much had the lead. And largely kept it, though it was very close for a number of times. And there was actually a number of different grinding methods. Ferran, you explained yours. Fury, you were grinding in that desert area just north of Sharlock, was it a bunch of werewolves and that sort of thing. Meanwhile, Centroid and Basp were spending most of their time in Hawksness with the Axe Dragon, the Axe Knight tile.
Oh, actually, there was a lot I didn't find. I didn't find Hawksness. I never found Cantlin. That was another thing. That's what it was, the token. I early on, I'd gotten the harp, I'd gotten the stones. I thought, all right. And my immediate, I guess, instinctive thought was, all right, look for either Cantlin to get coordinates or look for Hawksness to see what the spike tile is. And I saw this one cave just northeast of Garenham, and I think I died to pick one of the Sharlock enemies. I can't bloody remember. But I died to one of them, and I said, all right, let me get back there. And once I had gone in and saw it was the mountain cave, I thought, all right, it'll be fairly quick to check, just in case it's in a chest, as opposed to that. That's one of those risks that kind of paid off, in that I wouldn't have to look for Cantlin or Hawksness, and it turned out I didn't have to. Then it was, all right, get me out of there. And I think it was around that point, had I thought about it, and that would have been something else to save time, then I should have death warped out of there, gotten the money to gold grind for the silver shield, and then go get it. But I ended up kind of doubling back. So that was another dumb decision that probably cost me another like 4 or 5 minutes.
And as it turned out, there were no coordinates, and Hawksness had nothing.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, that was a gamble that paid off, thankfully. But I don't know.
I think by process of elimination, I think that means the fairy flute had to have been in that last chest in Mountain Cave, since we never saw that. And that was the only chest that was never checked, I think.
Oh, that's right. I never got that far because I got the token and said, get me out of here.
Yeah, I basically noped out of both once I had everything except for, I guess it was token was the last piece, and made the gamble that one or the other of Hawk's Nest or Ordnance was going to land me the other piece. And it was really wrapped around. You had to go kind of southwest and then go due east once you saw a little patch of desert, and go way east through a whole bunch of swamp to get to both of those locations. And the Motel 6 was over there as well.
Oh yeah, I never found Breckenary either. It's amazing. For this seed taking as long as it did, there was a lot I didn't find.
I guess it turns out there was a lot you didn't need to find.
Thankfully, because if it required more venturing outward, I felt like I would have just died a bunch more times, and this 2 hour and 2 minute thing would have turned into closer to 3, just trying to find all those other things. So it was good that it was fairly compact in that regard, but man, getting through the wall of enemies was certainly a challenge. Man,
Yep,
the way I'm talking about
it's-
this, you would have thought I got my butt kicked here, but I somehow, I guess even though I finished third among the four of us here, it was all I had to do was beat one individual, and I did, and somehow I'm going into this, 1-0 into next week, and my goal is 2-3, so I'm already halfway there.
Yeah, and going into the Dragon Lord fight, it looked really cool seeing all three of you fighting the Dragon Lord at the same time. With Basp on his way through going into Sharlock at the time too.
Yeah, I think because I had figured that I had already lost, at least in my mind, that was why I kind of threw a fun swag Hurtmore, hoping it would hit, just for the laugh in chat and commentary and everything else of, oh wow, he hit it, but of course it didn't because it's a 6% chance of happening.
All right, so I think we got everything covered. Any last words for many of our runners?
Sorry, I feel like I just came in and pretty much answered questions before they were even asked. I guess that comes from having done these post-race interviews, being the interviewer as opposed to the interviewee. I just kind of know exactly what to say and just go right into it. So hopefully, despite the slog of a race here, that this was rather entertaining for the folks there on Randomania 2. And yeah, just make sure to stay tuned as we've got more action coming your way. And I feel like I'm about to take the role of Melee here a little bit. But
That's
coming
fine.
up,
That's fine.
it looks like coming up tomorrow, there are 3 races set on the docket. Well, actually, I should say later today here on the East Coast, as it's 20 past midnight. In fact, one of those is in just a little under 11 hours from now. It doesn't look like it's going to be restreamed as of yet, as it's an 11 a.m. Eastern matinee between Janus and Lorgon. Then coming up tomorrow evening at 5 p.m. Eastern, it's going to be Ryguy 3745 against Lord of the Synth, our restreamer here, and that will be on the RPG Limit Break network. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern, it will be Angel FM against the Seawolf 1, and that will also be on RPG Limit Break. I just completely stole your thunder.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Centroid, Fury, any final thoughts from you guys?
Just thanks a lot for the restream, commentary, tracking, all those roles getting filled, all these races, getting everything pretty much covered. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks everyone for the restream and the commentating and the tracking. Definitely appreciated.
Yeah, it is greatly appreciated. Make sure to give all the fine folks here a follow. Lord of the Synth on the restream, Ali Gerbrap on the tracking, I believe it was, and Melee Wizard doing the commentary. And make sure to give the runners a follow as well, as hopefully the race was as entertaining on Randomania 2 as it was frustrating for us runners.
Yeah, because they were enjoying the empty levels very, very much, I'm sure. So alongside everyone here at Randomania, this is Melee Wizard, and have a nice night.